Hey guys, so you might notice from this that I am still in England, very freezing cold England as well. I've had a wonderful Christmas, time with friends, time with family, much needed week's break. But I'm very contemplative of things that I have again seen while I'm here. Tonight I'll return to my home, to Feathersdale. But before I depart on the west and it's fresh inside me, I just want to again share something that an experience that has happened to me, and it's in deep relation to my spiritual practice and coming back to my home and where I grew up, no longer home. When you are in a space that is very familiar to you, now this is beginning and can begin to happen to me in Tanzania now. I've been there 5 years almost. So it is becoming familiar. The people, the memories, the sights, the sounds. But I never allow myself to let them become familiar. Because I'm trained now in how to approach life. I'm trained in how to live without my carnal mind. I'm trained to live without regret. I'm trained to live without anticipation and expectation. I'm trained to live without concern for the past and anxiety for the future. And I trained myself to do that. And the only place you can train yourself to do all of those things is to be in the present moment and free and absent of your carnal mind. However, when I lived here, I was not trained in such a way, and that part of my carnal mind and subconscious rears itself when I'm here. And as I was travelling today into the local town, where I spent a lot of my late teens and early 20s, I saw a house that a friend of mine used to live in, and as I looked at the house, I noticed something happen. I remembered that friend. Now, it's not necessarily a bad memory. It's not something that's terrible in my past. But in remembering that friend, it opened up a doorway for other memories as well. Now, it's fine to recall and remember somebody that you've cared about in the past. But even though it was not a bad memory, I noticed immediately that because I was no longer in the present moment and I'd gone to a memory state, I was no longer as vibrant or feeling as alive as what I was a few moments before. So I caught myself, as I do in my practice, and I looked at this house again and I said, look at that house with the sun shining off the window. Look how beautiful it is in this moment. And I severed the memory of my friend, and my mood immediately elevated because I was alive again. And it's that simple. You're either alive or you're not. Now, we need memory, we need past, we need future, but they only operate as an echo to help you to locate where the present moment is in the end. Now, if you sit and live in your thoughts of the past or your thoughts of the future, you're not living at all. Because your thoughts, as I've said many a time, are merely a linear processing system within inside your body. And when you're in there, you're not alive, because life is not linear. The experience of looking at that house, the memory was linear, but the experience of the sun shining off the windows and glistening on the floor, that's not a linear experience. And it can't be lived, it can't be experienced, whilst your mind is associating and attaching descriptions, memories, and anticipations to it. And I've noticed this a lot here, that in actual fact, society is designed to force us into a state of sedation, I think is the best thing I would say. Materiality is a form of sedation. The deep materiality I'm referring to. Those who indulge heavily in the TV and the media, those who indulge heavily in concerns of the past and the future and a complete habitual routine, without any practice to allow them to attune to the present moment. Those who take life as nothing but a journey that's going somewhere, instead of taking it as something to align with and enjoy and tune into. And the more we watch movies which are linear, the more we watch TV shows which are linear and have a start and an end, the easier it is for all our lives do have a start and an end. The easier it is to start treating it that way instead of tuning in and enjoying it. As the late great Alan Watts said, life's like music. You don't want to get to the end of the song. You don't want to get to a part of the song. You want to enjoy it. And the more I move around in this space where my mind was not trained in the way it is now, call it Zen if you like, then I see that the memories become a form of sedation. They sever you. They sever you from being alive. They sever you from the present moment. And I find that the more indulgence in materiality we have, the more indulgence we have in objects outside of ourselves to gratify something that's missing within us, the more sedated we become. And this is the key aspect of what's missing from the awakening of human society to a higher level of consciousness. We allow those who are in the present moment, who don't have a good moral guidance system, sadly, to control us with their digital matrix, their digital media. And the foundation of all of that relies upon pulling us into our thoughts, pulling us into our memories, pulling us into our concerns and worries and fears, pulling us into desires of things that are external from the body, such as material goods, to try and gratify problems that can only be solved by fulfilling the desires that are internal, the desires of the spirit, of the soul. It's of vast importance that we all understand this, that the joy of life, the service of God, and the alignment with our own original destiny lay inside the present moment and the present moment alone. And if you live in this place with a lot of memories, where I'm at now and in Tanzania, you have to have a practice to stop your mind from associating every sight with a memory. Because when you associate every sight with a memory, you have nothing to think about but your thoughts, because you're going through thoughts. When you have nothing to think about but your thoughts, eventually you become a slave to your carnal mind. Whereas if your mind is silent, you'll find that amazing thoughts appear within you and you catch them. It's not that you generate them, it's that you catch those thoughts and then you give focus to them. That leads you on a thought train towards other more beautifying thoughts. But if you just keep catching thoughts that you've already thought, keep catching your memories, keep catching your anxieties for the future, you're going to miss out on life. And those in charge of this planet are doing everything they can with technology and with nutrition and food and everything in between to make sure that they keep you away from being alive, and that they catch you in your thoughts where you are of no threat to their power, to their system, to their wants, their dreams, and you just become a minion propping them up. It doesn't mean you have no meaning. It just means that they are very clever at ensnaring us into their system. We still live lives that are fulfilled sometimes in that system. We still live lives of love and beauty and God. But if we get away from the thoughts, just as I did when I looked at that house and I felt completely severed from the joy I was feeling a moment before because I'd gone into my carnal mind, a space where reality is just a linear nothingness. And I severed it, and instead I came back to the present, and I actually saw not an old friend's house, but a beautiful house with the sun shining upon it, because that is the reality of what was ahead of me. That was what was in front of me. In this reality, the only reality we have, the present moment, that's what was there. And so long as I looked at it, I was happy. When I involved my carnal mind, I was not. Even though the memories were not sad, it was just a lesser form of living. We have to all learn that. Don't sedate yourselves with your memories. Don't sedate yourselves with material desires. Don't sedate ourselves by externalizing the fulfillment of ourselves into the consumerist world around us. We can fight for this instead of congregating in pubs, instead of congregating at supermarkets and shopping malls, we can congregate and share spiritual knowledge or writings or song, music, dance, poetry. I know we already share music, but perhaps we can do it when we're not inebriated, which many are starting to do, but many need to start doing. Imagine a completely different society where we don't congregate around consumerism. We congregate around the expression of our souls. I can see it. The reason I can see it is because I live in such a society, and everybody around me here would benefit greatly from it. I just hope I can bring it back. God bless. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, as it really helps us to grow the channel and with it help more children here in Tanzania. Also, don't forget you can support our work by sharing with children in crisis here, be it sharing for a particular need or even sharing one-on-one support for education, housing, food and medical care. It can be done for as little as the cost of a cup of coffee a week back in the West after all. Just visit www.sharetanzania.co.uk to find out more. Lastly, remember you can also support us via Patreon, www.patreon.com/featherstail, and help keep us here in Tanzania to continue our work. The links for the website and for the Patreon are in the description box of this video. Love and light, guys. See you soon.